Adam Katz for Browning Direct, the Dog Trainer Marketing Agency, as well as the Dog Trainer Marketing Group on Facebook. Check us out. It's free to join. You'll be amongst over 2,800 other professional dog training business owners, just like yourself, swapping tips, strategies, and tactics. As well, I should mention that we run Google Ads for, at any given time, between 50 to 60 different dog training business owners all over North America and a few internationally as well. If you're interested in getting a 7 to 9 times return on your investment and stuffing your pipeline with qualified leads, desperate dog owners with money in hand, check us out at browningdirect.com. To the subject for today's video, we are talking about networking with other local dog trainers and why you shouldn't be mean just because they're your competition. Don't worry about that. Make friends with the other dog trainers in your location, in your city, is going to pay off. Let me explain. So check this out. I had a dog trainer call me a few weeks ago with a very peculiar dog training business model, very different from what a lot of you guys watching this are used to. Let me pretext this by saying, very nice guy, very intelligent, had been in the dog training industry for about 30 years, and he's in a very, very expensive market. Think West LA, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, those kind of areas. Not Santa Monica so much, but definitely parts of the Los Angeles market that are extremely wealthy. And so because of that, his business model was as follows. Basically, he ran it out of a condo, and he would only take red zone dogs, only extremely dangerous, difficult dogs, according to him. And he would do board and trains. He would only do 3 dogs a month because running the business out of his condominium in Los Angeles, he didn't have the space to take on more, and he didn't have the desire to take on more. Here's the thing. Because of his market, targeting generally wealthier people and targeting those red zone, really dangerous, high-risk dogs, he was charging $5,000 a dog. And he needed more clients. He said it had been going great up till a few months ago, and then it just got really quiet. So he wanted to talk to me about running Google Ads for him. The problem with his business model in regard to running Google Ads, or at least having us run Google Ads, is that to run ads in that area is so competitive and so expensive that you're probably looking at an ad spend budget. That's the money that goes to Google to actually run the ads, not the management fee that goes to me. But in that market, you're probably looking at least $3,000 a month in ad spend, plus the management fee, which is an extra $499. So you're in at $3,500. And so because of his business model, he can only sign 3 clients a month. That would mean more or less, well, if he signed 1 dog, he'd already be in the black. But the problem is that would be close to, roughly 25% of his revenue, maybe 30% of his revenue if, he wasn't exactly charging $5,000 per dog. Let's say maybe some dogs he was charging a little bit less. I don't know, but just for the sake of argument, let's say 30%. And that's way too much to be spending, as a percentage of your overall revenue. You don't want to be spending 1/3 of your time working to pay Google and to pay Adam. So I identified that and knew instantly that he was not going to be a good candidate for running Google Ads. Here's why. Because on average, in most markets, you're going to be spending anywhere from $2 to $6 per click to pay for those money keywords, the ones that actually convert into real leads and are going to put money in your bank account. In competitive markets, highly competitive markets, like the one that he was in, you might even end up paying more. We have some markets where you might be paying $8 to $10 per click. Now, it works if, let's say you get 6 to 8 clicks to get a lead, and so you're spending maybe $80 per lead, and you're closing 1 out of 3 leads. The numbers still work. It's expensive. The cost per click is expensive, but taken as an overall, the numbers still work. But in his case, because he can only sign a maximum of 3 clients per month, it didn't make sense. So here was my advice. What should he do is, instead of spending 1/3 of his revenue on something like Google Ads or Facebook ads or some other type of pay-per-click option, my advice is to get out there and really network with other dog trainers. Right now, coming out of COVID, because of the COVID puppies and the pandemic and everything else that's going on in the world, most dog trainers have more leads than they can handle. I mean, they've got a backlog. They're pushing people off by months. And so you have that factored in plus factored into the reality that a lot of dog trainers don't want to deal with aggression. Either they can't or they simply don't want to. And I'll give you an example. When I started my first dog training business in Los Angeles, I kind of made a name for myself dealing with aggressive dogs. That was my kind of my niche. When I had my third dog training business in Reno, I knew a little bit more about the industry and kind of what I wanted, and realized there were enough dogs out there that I didn't have to deal with difficult, red zone, dangerous dogs. So I didn't take them. And there's a lot of people out there like me who would be more than happy if you specialize in red zone dogs to refer those people to you. And even the ones that think they can work with a red zone dog, a lot of times they find out real quick that they can't. And that's where having a relationship with somebody like you, if you deal with red zone dogs, would be very beneficial to both parties. You know what? Go talk to James. He's an expert with this type of dog. I'm not, my business model is not set up to work with these types of dogs. There's no problem with that. There's more than enough non red zone dogs, easy dogs, to make a fantastic living. In fact, I have clients making $500,000 to $1 million a year with their dog training business. And many of them don't mess around with the red zone dogs. So having those types of relationships is really profitable for both parties. And so that's the type of scenario where, if instead of looking at other dog trainers in your market as being competition or being, people that you don't want to talk to, you don't want to work with, I say, reach out to them. Now, are all of them going to be welcoming? Probably not. There's a lot of real jerks in the dog training industry, a lot of big egos, but there's also a lot of really nice people. And so, really, your job should be to go out there and mingle with other dog trainers. I cannot tell you how many times I referred clients, maybe just because I didn't like them, because the client came in for a consultation and they had a bad personality, and I don't want to deal with that person. And there was nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just that we were like vinegar and oil. And so being able to have a relationship with another dog trainer in my market that I could refer people to was good for me, and it was good for the recipient, the other dog trainer receiving that lead, because that was like a free lead that would regularly convert into money. So if you're in a competitive market and you've got a business model where you can only handle 2 to 3 dogs per month, networking with other dog trainers in your market might be something to look into. I think it's a really good idea. Hey, I'm Adam Katz for browningdirect.com, the dog trainer marketing agency. Feel free to schedule a call if it does make sense to do so. And if you're looking to grow your dog training business specifically with Google Ads, because we find it works really, really well. Have a great day, guys.